coming from a very complete commitment to the Roman Catholic theology and its expression in monastic life, I would normally have been rather strict in judging, who would be prepared for contemplative prayer. And there is a tradition that requires, even though one is a Christian, one go through various stages of discursive meditation and practice of forced acts of the will or effective prayer to try to establish relationship with God through our human faculties of imaging and acts of the will and good works, in other words. And so when we came to offer centering prayer in prison, we came upon a population that was just the opposite. They weren't in prison for monastic motives. But they were certainly holed up and locked up even more than we were in our most austere days. You could leave if you wanted to. They can't quite yet, at least. So they started doing centering prayer because they found one of the books, and they asked for someone to take Los Angeles to come up. It was in Sacramento someplace, Folsom Prison. And a little core group of rather intelligent men, I don't know what they did outside, but they certainly were good organizers. They started in the prison. Maybe that's how they got in prison. But anyway, they got permission for a meeting once a week that featured 20 minutes of silence. Well, at first they had people that had to go through a preparation. They had to see a certain number of the videotapes before they could come. But later it got to be a little more broad-minded, and the friends of people on the yard. The people on the yard, I'm told, are those who have no interest in religion, will never go to a religious-sponsored affair at the chapel and so on. But they noticed that some of their colleagues who were going for this centering prayer were more cheerful, less aggressive, easier to live with, more friendly. And they asked them, well, what are you doing? And so they said, well, come and see. So some of these folks on the yard, for no other reason except to try to gain some of the same, what they saw as a benefit, started coming, and they weren't even taught centering prayer officially or in the formal way that we normally do, because we believe it happens to be more likely that people will get it if you do it with the best means that you can. Well, anyway, they just came and were silent for 20 minutes. I don't know what they thought when there was some discussion of what went on in people's minds during that time. There was only about 45 minutes that they had, and then they had to be thrown out, and they could never take more than 50 people at a time. But they started to change too, with those particular characteristics. So that alerted me, at least, to the fact that the divine mercy or tenderness that I'm trying to talk up was working in them without any regard to religion whatsoever. There was no effort to have them belong to any religion, and they already were a mixed group of Protestants and Catholics. So the group became everything you can think of who wanted to spend 20 minutes in silence and were benefiting for it. And I went there a couple of times, and one time there was a little sharing of what they got out of it. And it was extremely moving, and they were just as much benefited from it from people who are doing this in what we consider a little more likely set of candidates, yourselves, for instance. So what I think happens is that contemplation is innate to human nature, and anybody and everybody is called to it. And for those of you who are Christians, I think the Magi are symbols of the remote call of every human being to divine union.